Hello, lords and ladies, and welcome to this beginner's guide to Manor Lords. Today, we will be discussing 5 tips to help you master your early game and to help you guide your people through a perfect first winter together. Your people expect a lot from you, and with this guide, you'll be well on your way to creating your dream city. By following a few simple steps, you can avoid the disaster of all of your villagers abandoning you during your first winter, like my good buddy Anthony. So, let's jump on in. The very first thing that you should do when you get into the game is to get your food and resources storages under control. When you first load in, all your resources, including the bread that your villagers brought with them on this journey, is out in the open. And if you're anything like me, you left it out on your first playthrough a little too long and the rain came in quickly after, destroying some of your stores. By building your storehouse and granary early, you can avoid any unnecessary loss. You'll find both of these buildings in the logistics section of the construction tab. Your storehouse will be your primary material storage, and your granary will store your extra food. Ready to start building, my lord? Great, 'cause you won't get far without any lumber. In order to expand and build your city from a small homeless encampment to a sprawling medieval tourist hotspot, you'll need to fuel your industry with the nearby forests.
Burn it.
The first building you want to place is your logging camp. This building will assign a working family to chopping down nearby trees and bringing them back to your camp. Go ahead and assign at least one family to work in the logging camp immediately upon completion. The second building you want to build is the Woodcutter's Lodge. The Woodcutter's Lodge will allow you to create firewood for the harsh winters ahead. Keeping a good supply of firewood will ensure that your peasants, villagers, don't go cold when winter arrives.
Winter is coming. Those aren't just the start words. That's a fact.
The third and final building you want to place down is your saw pit. This building will allow you to take some of your logs and cut them into planks, which you'll need for building. You don't necessarily need this building right away, but I do suggest you build it and start working on planks in between other projects around the town. The fourth building that you can construct in your lumber industry is the Forester's Hut. This building will allow you to regrow trees that you have recently cut down. I don't necessarily recommend this building right away because using it this early takes away from some other vital tasks that your villagers could be doing. When it comes to basic survival needs, you know it, I know it, even your mom knows it. You can't survive without food and water. Thankfully, your villagers brought enough bread for them to survive for a few months without food. These stores won't last forever, however, and you'll want to begin planning your future dinners. After your lumber situation is under control, there are 2 buildings that you're going to want to build and man immediately. The first building is your Forager's Hut. This hut will assign a family to gather nearby berries and store them away for your villagers to eat as needed. I recommend leaving somebody in this building all the way up until winter to gain as much food as possible. As soon as winter hits, however, make sure that you unassign this family because you'll no longer be able to harvest berries from December through February. The second building is the Hunter's Camp. From this building, you'll assign a family to go out and hunt nearby wild animals for their food and hide. I would also highly recommend keeping one family on this task even through the winter months. 2 things to keep in mind when placing your buildings is where your resources are. Hopefully, in the map that you spawn with, your food resources aren't too far away. I lucked out with this map here. Even if you don't get lucky, it isn't the end of the world. Your workers will have a long walk, but they will continue to harvest away. In these situations, I recommend building your hunter's camp and forager's hut somewhat nearby to your granary. That way, once they return with the food, it doesn't have to go far to get to your villagers. Lastly, for water, it's pretty simple. Under the residential tab, you'll find the well building. When you click on the well, you'll see that an underground water map will appear. Make sure you place your well on top of an underground water spring, or it will give no yield. It's as simple as that. Tip number 4 is housing. Are you tired of being homeless as the lord of your lands? Well, your villagers are too. So let's build some houses. The first thing you're going to want to do is to come up with a basic design for where you want to build your homes. It can be simple or elaborate, however you want it to be. I chose to stick with simple for the design of this video. After your design, you're going to want to click Burgage Plot under the Residential tab, and it'll immediately snap to your roads. You want to build homes that are big enough to have a working area in the backyard. You'll be able to verify this if there's a shed and a hammer icon that populates. If you do not see this extra icon, that means your home will only be able to house people, and it will have no ability to produce extra things for you later on. An important thing to keep in mind when it comes to housing is that you want to make sure that you have enough extra houses so that families are willing to move into your village and increase the growth of your settlement. If there is no extra living space, then they'll simply move on and you'll miss out on much needed growth. The best way to keep track of this extra living space is in the top left-hand corner of your screen. You will see a house. This will show you how much living space that you have, if all your families have their homes, and what you can expect for upcoming families to be able to move into. The last and final tip I'll leave for you all is to monitor a very important icon at the top of your screen. The barrel that you see near the name of your city will indicate how many months you have of supplies before your village runs out. This is calculated by both your extra food stores and your firewood backstock. Please make sure that you monitor this icon closely and make plans to fix any issues as they arrive. If you're low on firewood, then make sure you pull a family off one of the tasks that they're working on and assign them to the Woodcutter's Lodge. Thank you all so very much for watching. With these tips, I think that you'll have no trouble surviving your first winter. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or maybe you have other helpful hints for players, then please feel free to leave a comment down below. If you enjoy this video, then please hit that like button, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing for more Manor Lord content to come, as well as many other games to play in the future. I've been your host, Corb, and I'll see you next time. Peace!